Hi, everyone. My name is Lauren Mendelsohn, the founder of Our Strength Within, where I continue to build a community of people who are struggling with an invisible illness like myself. I want to make sure people feel comfortable, seen, and loved. And so I've invited Charlie to come share his story. I appreciate being very vulnerable and open. So, Charlie, welcome and share a little bit more about yourself and what you go through every day.
Well, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was 5 years old.
Hmm.
Um, so one of the big things that are going or that I've been dealing with is people not knowing the difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes. So let's see. The easiest way to describe type 1 and type 2 is that they're the complete opposite diseases.
Oh, wow.
It's sort of basically like if someone called like depression and anxiety, depression 1 and depression 2.
Hmm.
That's basically exactly what's been going on. So a lot of people have been confusing that. Type 1 diabetes, a lot of people don't know what it is. So it's an autoimmune disease.
Okay.
So that means like, for instance, like when you get a cold, your body makes like white blood cells and things like that to fight it.
Hmm.
My body decided that like my pancreas to sort of confuse that with a cold.
Huh.
So it basically kills everything in my pancreas, like the beta cells
Wow.
that make insulin. So insulin basically is like a key to basically the cell. So like if you eat sugar or something like that, like how you get energy in your body, that's what like insulin does. It
So
opens
let
up
me
the
ask
cell.
you, what happened before you were 5 years old? Were there any signs like when you were born? Did any doctors say, "Hey, look out for this," or what does that look like? Like my epilepsy just came out of nowhere. Like no one knew
Same with mine.
why, what happened. Do you know why?
No,
Wow.
I have no idea. I was 5, so I went to my first like soccer tournament ever,
Hmm.
and I went to a sleepover, and then that night I got super thirsty, like to the point where like I was drinking gallons of water.
Wow.
And then 3 days later, like my mom found me. I was like super white, and I was taken to a hospital.
At
I was
5 years
given,
old.
yeah.
I didn't have sleepovers till I was like 10 years old.
Well, I mean, I guess we just moved to a town, so it was
Yeah,
like the first soccer sleepover. I
that's
guess you could say.
fun. I was a
Yeah.
keeper growing up.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
yeah.
I played every position. Like when
Really?
you're really young, like they just
I didn't
move you.
like running, so they put me
Yeah.
somewhere where I'm just sitting in one place.
Okay.
So
Well,
your
yeah.
mom, so has your mom taken care of you for most of your life?
No. I
Okay.
have been basically taking care of myself since I left the hospital. So
Wow.
I never let anyone give me an insulin shot or anything like that. Um, since I left, I've given myself probably close to 100,000 insulin shots.
Wow.
Um, and then I've had to prick my blood sugar. Like I have to basically get blood to like show what my blood sugar is.
Hmm.
And,
Is it like a little device that you carry around?
yep.
I have a friend of mine, she brought it to lunch every day in middle school. And we
Yeah.
were all so curious. So let me ask, like, growing up, how did you explain it to people? Like, you were 5 years old. I'm sure people had questions, especially your friends. Like, what'd you say?
Um, it's very difficult to like explain that to people. So
Hmm.
the easiest way I can explain it now, for instance, like is I have to test my blood sugar. So every time you drink a Coca-Cola or something like that, right? There's
Yeah.
42 grams of sugar in it. To break that down, you need insulin, right?
Yeah.
So you guys do that automatically. We do not.
Okay.
So like, for me to take that energy or that sugar and turn it into energy, I have to give myself an insulin shot. And if I
Every
don't,
time you eat or no?
oh,
Wow.
yep, every time you eat, and then a lot of times your blood sugar will go higher like just because it wants to. So if you like start exercising or things like that, like sometimes cortisol is released and like that can raise your blood sugar.
So
But
that's
the other,
good or it's not good?
not good. Like, because we
So
make
do you
0
work out?
to, yeah.
So do you have to prick yourself every time you work out?
Well, now I have a CGM,
Okay.
like a continuous glucose monitor, and
Okay.
like that, it beeps really loud now. So like I don't have to prick myself anymore,
Oh, okay.
but it's nice. But it's the most loud, annoying sound in the world. So you'll be in the gym, and then like if you ever
Um,
hear a huge beep or anything like that, it's probably a type 1 diabetic with their CGM.
so that's something important. So when I go to the gym next time, let's just say I have that beep or I hear the beep, not have the beep. If I go to the gym next time and I hear a beep from someone, is something gonna happen? Like, do I have to be aware or anything, or what do you do for that?
Well, the thing is like for low blood sugars, like
Hmm.
for instance, like everything is energy. So like for your
Okay.
heart to pump, it needs enough energy. So for your brain to function, right, it has to have enough energy. If your blood sugar goes low,
Hmm.
like for instance, for me, like a regular blood sugar is 80 to 120. If I go
Okay.
down to 60, it's like I'm super buzzed on alcohol,
Oh,
right? Because like
wow.
there's not enough sugar to run your brain correctly. So then, like if I go lower, like if I go down to 40,
Wow.
it starts to get the blackout drunk level. So you'll see someone at the gym who's like was completely okay, and then they look blackout drunk. They can if it goes low enough. So for me, like I always have sugar on me and things like that. But if you see someone and you hear the beep, like, and then like the 1 second they were okay, and the next they look like they're blackout drunk, like most likely it's a low blood sugar. They weren't chugging vodka in the bathroom.
I would hope not. Well, so like when I was one time when I was in Publix, a lady was in front of me. She passed out and she started having a seizure. No one knew what to do.
Yep.
I only knew what to do because I educated myself. So by sharing this and becoming well versed in what you go through helps a lot of people. So, you know how you were diagnosed at 5?
Hmm.
Can people
Yep.
just be diagnosed late in life? Like you're 35. Can someone be diagnosed that late?
With type 1,
Yeah,
it's happened. Like, but
it's rare.
it's yeah, because usually it used to be called juvenile type like diabetes
Yep.
instead of type 1. So usually everyone was between like 5 and 12 years old.
Wow.
Now though, I think there are some people like that are getting it later in life, and why that happens, I have no idea. Like,
Tell me about it. At 19, I started having seizures. And no
yes.
one can give 70% of people don't know why they have episodes. But what I have heard about are diabetic seizures.
Yep. We
Have you
have like
ever experienced that?
I have gotten very low. So, like for diabetics, usually it's a lack of energy. So
Oh,
it's a
wow.
lack of like, so if your blood sugar is too low, like your body starts freaking out because there's not enough sugar. And then
Yeah.
if you go too high, like there's not like they can't break the like they can't take the sugar and turn it into energy. So your brain needs the energy to run, but it can't, there's not enough there. So then you start going into episodes.
So I'll ask you this. When you were first diagnosed and continuously are facing it every single day, how do you educate yourself properly? Like there's so many sources. Like I'm sure people who are recently diagnosed look it up. So what
Yeah.
sources of education do you use that can maybe help someone who's recently diagnosed?
Um, they have to do it practically. So, like for instance, for low blood sugars, they have to give themselves low blood sugars on purpose. It happens all the time. Like if you do too much insulin, like
Hmm.
if I was 5 years old, what I would want to do over again, or if my son got it, I would make him like purposely give him low blood sugars. And it sounds bad, but it happens all the time. So if he starts noticing the effects,
Ah,
like, oh, like my blood sugar's going low. This is what it feels like later in life. Like when he's like a year later, he feels it when he's not expecting it. Like he'll be like, "Oh, I need to get sugar right now because my blood sugar is going low."
Huh.
Like that's what I
Like
would say.
bringing yourself like to be more self-aware.
Yeah, you have to be because it's your responsibility. I
Hmm.
guess you could say like a lot of times too, like with kids today, like with CGMs and like these diabetes pumps, I didn't have that. So in 1996, when I was diagnosed, there was no internet either.
I
So
couldn't imagine our world. I literally
yeah,
could not imagine our world.
well, yeah. So like, if you think about it like that, like my parents had no idea either. Um, it was I had to learn, I guess you could say, like on my
Yeah.
own. Like
Hmm.
also, like my grandfather created a blood sugar game. I would have to guess what my blood sugar was before I tested it. And the closer I got, like he'd give me something cool or let me go like do something.
That's smart for someone who's young, who is recently diagnosed, and it's a scary thing to be diagnosed with something you're not familiar with,
Yeah.
and bring it into something that is kind of like relatable and makes you want to do the things and treat yourself. It's a smart thing.
Yeah, he was smart because
Yeah.
like I got very competitive.
Aren't we
Like,
all? I mean, you played soccer. If you are recently diagnosed, like if you were recently diagnosed now,
huh?
what advice would you give someone? Because you've been through it, you've taken the time to do research.
First thing I would say is it's not their fault.
Hmm.
Like, 'cause for a long time, like, I blame myself, I guess you could say, for it. And like the first thing I would tell someone is like it's not their fault, it's their immune system. And
Yeah.
now we have tools to fix it and to learn. But if anything, like other things that I've faced in my life, like after type 1 diabetes,
Yeah.
like type 1 diabetes made me stronger because of it. Like other people I know who have no diseases, like they're 100% healthy. Like I've had like infections and other things that where I knew something was wrong with my body, and the
Hmm.
doctors told me no. They said like there was nothing wrong. Had I have listened to them, I'd be a dead man.
You said you faced a lot. I want to invite you back to share everything else that you've gone through, but can you kind of give us a little sneak peek of what you've been through so we can dive deeper in future episodes?
Let's see, when I was 27, I had a surgery and I got a skull infection from that surgery.
Mm.
So that took, because it was in the bone, it took close to 2 years to beat. And
Wow.
then in 2021, I was held captive in Nashville. I went to go celebrate beating the staph infection. And then I went, I got PTSD, but it took me 2 years and 9 months to be diagnosed. So for 2 years and 9 months, I basically told doctors something was wrong when I thought there was. And they said there wasn't. Like I was labeled a hypochondriac. So for people who know their body and like who've been sick, I would just say like the doctors are not always right. And you can always find like if like the doctors don't believe you, switch your doctors
Yeah.
and
I
find
mean, I
someone that
know when I went to a doctor, I'm not naming names,
yeah.
and because they said to me, you don't have seizures enough, so we can't put you on the schedule. I
Well,
had a conniption fit, and then I found a new doctor.
yeah.
And so, because there's so many in the world, like there's so many, you can find one that like fits your needs, that will see you, even if you're not actively having seizures. But it's so impressive how in tune you are and self-aware you are, and the strength to be able to go public and share with the world about what you go through is really impressive. And I'm really excited to have you on to dive deeper into the series of events that happened after you were 5 years old, diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. I'm just really thankful that you reached out to me and your mom and my dad met at TEDx. I really do feel like blessed that you reached out to me because your story needs to be shared and heard, and your resilience will motivate other people and get them through the hardship that they face every day.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I know, and you're so young. So I'll close with this one question. What does your future look like?
My future?
I know that's a really deep question and we're not in
Yeah.
therapy. But like for example,
Yeah.
like for me with my epilepsy, I was told like I'll always be on medication. I it'll so at some point in the future, obviously I would like to have children. And 1% of children that are born have the likelihood of being born with a disability. When you have epilepsy, it goes up to 2%. And so there's things like that that were shared with me that have kind of affected my future and what my future looks like. Do you have those situations where you'll never be off medication or something like that?
Yeah, I'll never be off medication. But it was interesting. Like, I saw when I was diagnosed with PTSD, that was at the Mayo Clinic. There was
Where? In Minnesota?
in Jacksonville, Florida.
Okay. I was diagnosed in Rochester, Minnesota. So
Yeah, the Mayo
yeah.
Clinic.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
yeah.
they are the best. Like,
They are. Those are not the people who told me they wouldn't see me.
literally, yeah, they saved my life. So I would say, like, to anyone, if you can get into the Mayo Clinic, do that.
Yeah.
But it was interesting what she told me. So since I was 5 years old, I've had type 1 diabetes. She
Wow.
said people who get diagnosed with PTSD, there's one or two things. Like, I asked her if it could be cured. She said yes. As soon as that was said, my mindset changed. Like, I'm going to beat it. I'm going to do whatever I can, right? Because I've had type 1 diabetes like since I was 5. So I'm used to being broken. She
Yeah.
said a lot of people aren't like that. The healthy people, right? Like, they give up, they give in, like if they're diagnosed with something. So if you are disabled, whatever, I think you're stronger for it. Like, in reality, like, you have more stuff to deal with on a daily basis than majority of people ever have to deal with in their life.
Yeah.
So I would look at it as an advantage rather than a disability, I guess I would say, just because some of the things I've gotten through, like, I shouldn't have.
I mean,
And
I
I,
believe everything happens for a reason.
yeah,
So like when you say resilience, I feel like what you were
mhm.
diagnosed with has prepared you for what else you've gone through.
Yes, that's
No,
what I.
is that a terrible thing to say?
Well, it's like you start looking, nothing makes sense looking forward. Like,
Oh,
everything makes sense looking backward, I would say.
I
So,
love
for
that. I'm gonna post that. I'm gonna tell everyone that.
well, it's
I'm gonna,
like I hated type 1 diabetes for so long, right?
yeah.
And like now everything it's done for me, like, literally has saved my life.
Wow.
So as you said, like, now that you said that, looking back, like, it's weird. Like, yes, it did prepare me and everything did happen for a reason. So I have to agree with you. Like, yes, I think it did happen for a reason.
Charlie, I appreciate your time. I'm excited to have you on 3, 4, 10 more times, however much you want to be on. And just thank you to everyone who is watching. And I hope you're getting a lot out of Charlie's story, my vulnerability, and we'll talk next time. Thank you.